Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you Chapter 6, Section 4 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
As.
Ah.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Author Conan Doyle. Chapter 6, Section 4. Mice. Stray. Window. And she was escorted home in a cab by the police. Their presence could be of no help to them in their investigations. Inspector Burton, who had charge of the case, premises, but without finding anything which threw any light upon the matter. Mistake had been made in not arresting Boone instantly. 2 minutes during which he might have communicated with his friend the Lascar. This fault was soon remedied, and he was seized and searched, being found which could incriminate him. There were, it is true, blood stains upon his right shirt sleeve, but he pointed to his ring finger, being cut near the nail, and explained that the bleeding came from there, adding that he had been to the window not long before. Stains which had been observed there came doubtless from the same source. Strenuously having ever seen Mr. Neville Street, the police asked him my street seen her husband at the window, mad or dreaming. He was removed, loudly protesting to. The police station afforded some fresh clue, and it did what they had. Feared to find. It was Neville Street Clare's coat, and not Neville Street Clare, which lay uncovered as the tide receded. No, I don't think you would guess. Halfpenny pennies and 270. Halfpennies, swept away by the tide. Pretty human, but he is a different matter. There is a fiercity between the wharf and the house. That all the other clothes were found in the room. No. Sir, but the facts might be made speciously enough. For Snowball Street, clear through the window, could have seen the deed. What would he do then? Course instantly strike him that he must get rid of the telltale garments. Would seize the coat, then out one. It would occur to him that it would swim and not sink. He has little time. Wife tried to force her way up. His Lascar confederate that. The police are hurrying up the street. An instant to be lost. He rushes to some secret hoard, has accumulated the fruits of his bigotry. Thinking, he throws it out. Other garments had not here the worship steps below what would take it as a working hypothesis. For want of a better, Boone, as I have told you, was arrested and taken to the station. It could not be shown that there had ever before been anything against him. He had for years been known, as a professional bigger, to have been a very quiet and innocent one. Present, and the questions which have to be solved, what Neville Street doing in the opium den, what happened to him when there, you know. From a solution as ever. Series of events until the last. Straggling houses had been left behind, a country hedge on the other side of us. Just as he finished, however, we drove through to scattered villages, the windows. We're on the outskirts of Lee, said my companion. Touched on 3 English counties in our short drive, starting in Middlesex. Over an angle of Surrey and ending in Kent. The trees. That is the cedars whose institute have already, I have little doubt, not conducting the case from Baker Street. I asked. Must be made out here. My street, 2 rooms at my disposal. Nothing but a welcome for my friend and colleague. I hate to meet her. Watson, when I have no news of of her husband. Here we are. Woe that stood within its own. Gruns. Head and springing down, I followed Holmes up the small which led to the house. As we approached, the door flew open and a little blonde woman stood in the opening light. Musline to soie and wrists. She stood with her figure outlined against the flood of light, one hand upon the door, one half raised in. Her eagerness bent her head and face protruded with eager eyes and parted lips, a standing question. She cried, "What?" And then two of us, as she saw that my companion shook his head and shrugged his shoulders. For that. But come in. Eh? Must be weary friend, Dr. Watson. In several of my cases, I am delighted to see you, said she, pressing my hand warmly. You will, I am sure, may be wanting. In our arrangements, my dear madam, said I, an old campaigner. No apology is needed. If I can be of any assistance to you, or to my friend here, now, Mr. Lady, as we entered the well-lit dining room, supper had been laid out, or two plain questions. Certainly, do not trouble about my feelings. I am not hysterical, nor given to fainting. Real in your heart of hearts. The question. Frankly, now, she repeated, keenly down at him as he leaned back in a basket chair. Frankly, then, madam. I don't say that. Then perhaps, Mr. Holmes sprang out of his chair as if he had been galvanized. What, he roared, is today? She stood smiling there. Snatched it from her in his eagerness. Upon the table he drew over the lamp and examined it intently. Left my chair and was gazing at it over his shoulder. Of that very day, or rather of the day before, considerably after midnight. Coarse writing, murmured Holmes. Surely this is not your husband's writing. No, the name you see is in perfectly black ink which has dried itself. The rest is of a greyish colour. That blotting paper has been used. If it had been written straight off, then blotted, none would be of a deep black shade. Written the name, address, which can only mean that he was not familiar with it, is of course a trifles. Let us now see the letter. Ah, yes, a ring. His hand when he wrote hurriedly. Usual writing, dearest, do not be frightened. All will come well. Is a huge error which it may take some little time to rectify. And patience. Neville. Written in pencil on the flyleaf of a book octavo size. No watermark. Oh, though. Ah, and the flap has been gummed very much in error by a person who had been chewing tobacco. You have no doubt that it is your husband's hand. And we're posted today at Gravesend. Well, mice. Street clear, clouds lighten, but he must be alive. Mr. Clever for you to put us on the wrong scent. The ring, after all, proves nothing. Oh no. It is very well. May, however. If so, oh, you must not discourage me, Mr. Holmes. I know that all is well with him. So keen a sympathy between us that I should know if evil came upon him. Bedroon. That something had happened. Impression of a woman may be more valuable than the conclusion of an analytical reasoner. Corroborate your view. But if your husband is alive and able to write letters, I cannot imagine. He only, as I understand, how yes. But it might have been a cry of surprise. Might have leaped back. No, though. Quite so. Your husband, as far as you could see, but without his collar or a tie. Thank you, mice. Streetcar. Those are the principal points about which I wish to be absolutely clear. We shall now have a little supper and then retire. A double-bedded room had been placed at our disposal as sheets for. I was weary after my night of adventure. A man, however, whose mind would go for days and even for a week without rest, turning it over, rearranging his facts. Insufficient. All night sitting. He took off his coat and waistcoat, little dressing gown cushions from the sofa and armchairs, divan upon which he perched himself cross-legged, and a box of matches laid out in front of. In light of the lamp I saw him sitting there at his lips, his eyes fixed vacantly upon the guano of the ceiling, the smoke curling up from him, silent, motionless upon his strong-set, aquiline features. So he sat as I dropped off asleep, and so he sat when a sudden ejaculation caused me to wake up, and I found the summer sun shining into the apartment. Between his lips, the smoke still coiled upward of a dense tobacco haze I had seen upon the previous night. "Awake, Watson?" he asked. "Then dress." "No ways. Stirring yet, but I know where the stable boy sleeps. We shall soon have the trap out." He chuckled to himself as he spoke, his eyes twinkled. The previous night. As I dressed, I glanced at my watch. Wonder that no one was stirring. It was 25 minutes past 4. The horse. "I want to test a little theory of mine," said he on his boots. "I think, Watson, the presence of one of the most absolute fools in Europe." To be continued.